Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. We're going to be trying out the new HEL on Bird. This will be floors 1 to 3, not 4. Mainly because I don't think it's really worth using HEL on 4. I think we already have the best team in the game for floor 4, which is of course the Lolly Merlin, Thor, Magelda, Shion team. HEL doesn't really provide any of the skills needed for phase 3, and that is how I basically fully base if they're useful or not, is phase 3 of floor 4, which is when we need the special types of cards to remove the immortality stacks. That's basically how I judge if they're useful or not. So gear-wise here we have attack crit, HP defense, and then attack crit. For card set we're running, if everyone is the same race, we get 15% attack related stat boost everyone's stats even higher. Thor should have a hell of a lot of attack because of these two here, and yeah, let's get on with it. Here we go. So, HEL is very good. Once again, her only problem is that because she has double AoE, even if let's just say I was to replace Merlin and still run Shion, it would be a lot harder to get Shion's passive, crit chance, crit damage passive, which is caused by you playing 3 single target skills, as HEL has 2 AoE skills, which is not the best, I'm not going to lie. We'll see what her damage is like though. We'll sort of waste a bunch of skills turn 1. I'm hoping her damage still should be pretty good though. Yeah, not bad. I'll check her stats next turn. So get a few hits off first. There we go. Let's see what everyone's stats are like. So 66k attack, oh wrong way. 40k attack, 46k attack, 61k attack. Okay, now I'm gonna get Thor's passive going. I'm also going to do this to sort of start working on getting some Magelda stacks, just to sort of boost everyone's stats a little bit higher. It's going to be quite hard to get HEL's ult because Bird is pretty easy, so we probably won't have the chance to get any more stacks for HEL's passive, which is basically you just got to apply the buff again, whether to yourself or to your allies. That can be by an ultimate or via the passive. Thor's attack, 92k, 54k, 47k, 83k. That's once again one stack of a passive. If we get her ult, which I can do, which we will do. She's also missing a buff, so... I want to switch damage. She's probably getting a damage cap here. Damage cap's 50%. She does, lovely. Thor, once again, always going to do Thor things, which is clean up and deal damage cap. Of course, Thor does have the boost still, because floors 1 to 4, Thor has a boost where like she boosts your team's base stats by 10% and then her own by 10% as well. I don't know, it's some sort of buff that boosts your team, that's all I really know, to be honest. I've been using her on this ever since she released. Okay, didn't hit damage cap. Just have max stacks now of her passive. It's not the worst, it is cleave, so I wasn't expecting her to really hit the hardest. Cleave can hit quite hard, but it is what it is. 0 damage run, maybe? Magelda, that's by healing, that's not actual damage. Yeah, HEL's damage is good. Of course, I did give her a lot of chances to deal damage, so I think next time I'm going to sort of try and balance it, play the same amount of HEL skills as I do Thor skills and see what the damage is like. And yeah, on to floor 2 now. Here we are, now on to floor 2. Let's see how this goes. Hopefully it should be quite easy. Phase 2, once again, is always the sort of iffy phase on this demonic beast, because if you don't have a taunt up, you die, and this team doesn't have a taunt, and most teams don't have a taunt. But thankfully, the damage cap is now 50%, instead of before floor 4, where it was like 30% or whatever it was, so you sort of did need a taunt up or a death damage character. Let me waste all of these skills. Actually, I'm going to cleanse now, whilst I can, and we'll get rid of these. I think we kill, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully we kill this phase. Does have 50% damage cap. Decent damage there. And then with this should kill. There we go, damage cap, nice. Okay. I think I buff up first. I know I'm putting a lot of trust in HEL to do double damage cap here, but I feel like it's kind of impossible that she doesn't do double damage cap. There's one. Level 2 should also do it as well. The fact that that skill does 120, 150% increased damage dealt when she has her buff, it's kind of insane. Sort of like the male single target. I'm pretty sure it's 100, 120% with 2 times crit chance, and it's basically a pierce rate skill as well, which is why it's even stronger. And I feel like skills like that, yes, they sound a little bit over the top, but their multipliers are normally pretty low, which means if they're disabled, completely useless. But it's fair, because normally they have decent stat boosts, and they've got low multipliers, so it's not stupidly broken. Which is good. I always like those sort of unique ones where they've got like several effects that like the old characters only have one of them, like pierce rate, for example. She has 2 times crit chance, 3 times pierce rate, and that boost as well. Like that sort of makes these end of month characters feel a little bit more special than your average sort of every 2-week characters. And yeah, easy. We might actually be able to do a no damage run of this demonic beast, because HEL is providing us with a lovely 24% basic stats, which is very useful for Thor and Merlin, and of course HEL. And now, yeah, let's see what the damage is like. Pretty sure maybe HEL carried. Yeah, floor 3 will be the true test of who's doing lots of damage and who's the real carry on this team. On to floor 3 now. On to floor 3. Should also be quite easy. Never really had problems with this demonic beast, especially since it got nerfed pretty heavy with floor 4, which for some reason they've not actually nerfed Deer since floor 4's come out. Like, they did with Bird, why not do it with Deer? Because Deer's, I would say, a lot worse than Bird to deal with. I don't think this is killing. Okay, maybe. Okay, maybe, that's 81k. This demonic beast, or this phase, has a lot of damage reduction to level 1 skills. That, I'm pretty sure, was damage cap. That was damage cap. Okay, that's really good to see from HEL. I do have an idea, but it's kind of a gamble. But I'm a gambling man, so it's fine. We are gonna do this, so we're gonna double buff up, just solely for the stat boosts. And we'll do this. We should hopefully kill. Merlin's got full health. She's got a lot of attack as well from her allies. Boosting her, she can have even more from Magella buffs now. It's damage cap. And Thor's definitely hitting damage cap as well, because she's got a lot more attack than Merlin. Okay, this is where it starts to get a little bit more dicey. Okay, so damage cap is like 30% or whatever. If I get HEL's ult as well, that'll also be pretty useful. This does 33%, so you add on top of that's 50%, so we can kill these 2 skills. I did waste the gold skill. Kind of stupid, but it is what it is. Okay, we got the really good passive, which means we can do a full no-hit. We took 0 damage through all 3 floors. And yeah, I think it's the first time I've ever done a 0 damage run. A bird. HEL is really good. For floors 1 to 3, would I say she's better than Shion? Probably not. Because Shion, once again, she's got the buff, she's got the damage reduction, which really does help your team out. Tank just a little bit better. Just generally, especially Merlin, because if you're running auto, Merlin's going to get targeted. Even with Red Tarmiel, if you get the passive where he full heals, if you get him below like 25%, and you get the reflect as well on floor 3, that can kill your Merlin, even with the Shion team. So you sort of want as much damage reduction as you can. The increased health isn't really going to make too much of a difference, that HEL can provide, but generally, like, they're both this team works really well. And I guess if you don't have Shion and you want to farm floors 1 to 3, this is probably your best team to run it with, because HEL, she can hit cap pretty easily. She's got a good ultimate, even at 1/6, even though you're only buffing yourself, it's still a decent ultimate. She buffs your team, so characters like Magelda, who don't really do too much damage, now have 2 boosters boosting them now, which is even better. Merlin herself gets an additional booster, and Thor also gets an additional booster as well, which, once again, even better. The team's more bulkier, does more damage. Thor did clutch up, mainly because death damage is insanely clutch. When the damage cap gets slightly lower, you can see the characters with death damage seem to always provide a little bit more damage, a little more usefulness. But anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.